Daylight breaks over the ridge. The hounds strike. No crowds, no cameras, just a track and the hounds that bring the story to life. That's what this show's about. Dogs, dirt roads, early mornings, and the people who live it. This is Creekside Chronicles. Hounds, hunting, and heritage. I am your host, Heath Hyatt, houndsman, hunter, and a lifelong student of the outdoors. Here, we chase more than game. We chase knowledge about hounds, hunting, and living the outdoor life the right way. From bear country to back roads, this is where the hunt meets heart, and every story runs a different trail. So pull up your chair by the creek, leash up your best hound, and let's get after it together. Performance starts in the feed. Inukshuk's high-fat content fuels long runs and hard hunts, giving dogs the steady energy they need, while quality protein supports faster recovery after the work is done. That's why I trust Inukshuk dog food. Packed with energy and nutrition dogs need to go further, run harder, and recover stronger. If you want extreme performance, you can look them up at Inukshuk Professional Dog Food or CoreyNutrition.com. So we have been trying to get this podcast done for 2 months now? Maybe 3? At least 2 months.
A couple months, yeah.
But when you got two people that, like, December's bad for me, like, I'm hunting as much as possible. And, of course, you know, we're going from volleyball to basketball season, and then cat season's in up north. It comes in 1st of December, doesn't it?
Yeah, we start, call it the 1st of December. We can actually start in November, but with deer seasons and stuff, it's December before you can get going.
So we were texting back and forth. We're like, hey, we'll try to do this on Tuesday. And then Tuesday'd roll around, and it'd be one of the days that I'd be in the woods until dark. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to make it today. And then we'd text next week and say, all right, we'll try this on Thursday or Friday. And he'd be like, yeah, it's supposed to be good weather. I'm going to hunt this day. So, yeah, trying to get content or trying to do a podcast during hunting season is extremely difficult, especially if you're hunting. That's all there is to it. If you're hunting, like, it's hard. It's extremely hard to do. So
yeah, but we made it happen finally.
Yeah. So bear season's over, and I will say that I'm already having a little bit of withdrawals, but I needed a little bit of a break. I needed a rest. Like, it's pretty bad when you say, man, I'm ready to go back to work so I can get a little bit of rest. I told one of the guys at work, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, man, you get up 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock every morning, you know, drive an hour or two, put out dogs, then you're going from, you know, you don't know how far you're walking, you don't know what time you're coming home. You get home, you put up the dogs, you run to a sporting event, or you just try to have a little bit of downtime, and you repeat that day in and day out. Like, it is taxing on the body. For me, like, and I'm not getting any younger either. So they laugh and carry on like, you ain't never at work. And I'm like, well, I can tell you right now, I'm working way harder than y'all are, and you're at work.
I agree with you 100%. When our seasons are over, whether it be bear season or cat season, it's like, you know, I'm always like, oh man, it'll be nice to have that off your plate too. Just not something else you're thinking about all the time, or think you need to be out there or whatever. But I just wish it wasn't so long before season was in again. You know, it'd be one thing if you could just get a few weeks off and then get back after it. But generally there's a longer break than that.
Yeah, I do not like our downtime, which, again, that's one of the reasons I travel when I can and so on and so forth, is just to knock the rust off really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I needed a break. I was tired by the last. In fact, the last day we hunted, our last day of season, everybody in the group, we got up to where we were going. Everybody's like, where are you going? And I'm like, well, I'm going here. And they're like, yeah, I could really sit in the truck today. And I'm like, well, if we all sit in the truck, we definitely ain't gonna see anything. So all of us miserably and unwantingly hiked up the mountain and did what we made a big round in there, but didn't happen to get after anything. Ran into another group that was in there, which we didn't know was in there, but that made things really interesting. But yeah, the last day I cannot say that we put 100% effort into it. Like it was
just going through
got to do it
motions.
because of dogs, but
Yeah.
we did not do what we should have done.
That's understandable.
So, yeah. Right. So how's the cat season going? Like how you got a little bit left. How's it going?
It's been going fairly well. Unfortunately, we're just coming off of our second spell of rain here. So a couple weeks ago, we had pretty good rain that put a pretty good crust on the snow. I think I went through a stretch of 8 days there. I hunted 6 out of the 8 days and got 6 nice cats all 6 of those days. But I don't know if I think I kind of got lucky on a couple of them because we had such a bad crust. The dogs were breaking through the crust and the cats were staying on top and only running through a couple inches of snow. And I think the one we ran for 4 hours before they ended up catching it. So I've been kind of playing that game with my dog's feet too, because they're still a little marginal.
Mm-hmm.
We're still a little marginal from bad conditions in British Columbia. And then now our conditions haven't been that great, so I've been trying to give one a rest here and one a rest there and still trying to keep enough dog power to get some cats caught. But with the rain we got the last couple days, I hope we're not done for the month, but I think our crust is going to be even worse now than what it was then a couple weeks ago. So,
well, let me ask you, because the next time I talk to somebody out west, I'm going to ask a question because, they're cat hunting. Like if you're not dry ground hunting, you're hunting in the snow. Like I don't mind snow if it's powdery or fluffy. But I will say, even with that, if you get in some of our country, down in the north where the rocks and it's steep and it's nothing but rock, rock faced, it works on the dog's feet. Like it really does. Even the dogs that I have that have really tough feet that you can hunt pretty much all the time, even if they don't get torn pads or messed up, like they'll get a little bit foot sore. And when it comes a crust, like what you're saying, like when it freezes over on the top and they're pushing through it, if I hunt my dogs a day, if I get 2 days out of them, that's it. Like they're done, and I have to let that heal. Is that the same? Is that the same thing you see?
Yeah, I mean, I try to keep my dog's feet pretty tough. I do a ton of roading and stuff. Where I was having issues was around their toenails. Which I don't know if there's anything that's ever going to prep them for that necessarily, when they're breaking through the crust with their toenails and it just wears on it. Now, the good thing about that heals a lot faster than torn up pads or whatever. And I think you can get away with a little bit of wear around their toenails, and keep hunting them, and it doesn't slow them down quite as much as as if it's around their pads. I mean, I've seen dogs be done for the winter because they get so bad around their pads.
Yeah.
Or you think, oh, I gave her 2 weeks off, she'll be fine. And she's out of the truck for an hour. And all of a sudden it's like, man, it looks like it's right back to where it was 2 weeks ago. And so thankfully I didn't have any of that going on. It was just all around the toenails, but it's still a pain to just try to manage that and not let it get so bad,
Yeah, I wonder how they deal with it because I mean, some places out there they've got snow like the whole time. So I don't know. That would be. I'm going to be asking because that's interesting to me. I thought about that this year when I was hunting in it, and I did see that they get real tender around the toenails.
So in my experience out west, like in those mountains out there, and maybe it's like by you too. I mean, everything can be completely different from one side to the other, or one valley to the other. Like, you know, you might go up to one. When I was out there line hunting, we'd go to one valley and we were gonna check it for tracks, and the crust would be horrible. And we'd be like, well, we're not going to hunt here. We'd hop in the truck and drive the 45 minutes around to the other side or whatever. And you'd get over there and the snow's beautiful. So, you know, the little bit that I know about it and the friends that I have around it, that just kind of dictates where they're going to hunt for the day, more or less, you know, try to stay out of that. And hopefully you don't have to go too terrible far to get it where it's better.
And you went to BC earlier, didn't you?
I did, yeah, beginning of December.
Any snow? Did you have how was that? I know it's a little tough.
Honestly, I couldn't have hit it any worse. It got up in the 30s above freezing every day and rained a little bit, and then it was freezing at night. And that was every day. So the cats were walking on top at night. So, I mean, you pretty much couldn't even look for tracks. I was trying to rope my dogs and hit tracks that way. And I did. But you know, the problem was is sometimes I was roading them 4, 5, 6 miles before we hit a track. And, you know, so I was wearing their feet down on just roading them, just trying to find a track and, you know, tiring them out just trying to find a track too. And I think we ran 2 lynx jumped. The third day we got on one, a really nice, it looked like a dandy tom, and it took us into the blowdowns, and the dogs were breaking through the crust and the cat was skating on top, and we ended up running it for 4 hours and not catching it. And in hindsight, I should have just pulled the plug on it way before I did, because I could tell they weren't catch it just the way they were breaking through that crust and just not pushing it. And of course that ended up tearing their feet up quite a bit. And then we actually got on one like an hour before dark on the last day, and they got that jumped, and I thought we were going to catch it there for 30 minutes because they were really humming it. And then it got into the blowdowns again where the crust was bad, and they ran out of steam, and, you know, we're walking on eggshells then on sore feet already. And I mean, honestly, I love being out there. It's beautiful. We stayed with Itcha Mountain Outfitters, and Stuart and his crew were great. The food was great, but after a couple days of that, it's like, man, I should have just stayed at home and went to work, because it was frustrating. But that, I tell people all the time, that's the chance you take when you go somewhere in the winter hunting, because it's so weather dependent. You know, like you come up by me bear hunting for a week, and we're going to get, maybe you'll get rained out in the morning for a couple hours or something, but you're pretty much going to get 7 days of hunting, you know. But you go on a scheduled trip, you can get screwed by the weather the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think weather, you know, it does. It plays a part in anywhere you go. I mean, very seldom here do we get 2 or 3 days of like just horrible weather.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the rain. And I admit I didn't like hunting in the rain. Like there's nothing fun about going through a laurel thicket and having everything all the way down to your toes soaked. I just don't enjoy it. I don't. And I think maybe with age, when I was telling somebody in the group the other day, you know, man, he just hits the brush wide open, don't care. And I was like, yeah, about 20 years ago, that was me. Now I'm not. Like, I want to hunt and I want to make the most of it, but comfort is very much into my vocabulary.
Yeah, and once you know it, the morning we left, it was snowing like crazy, and they had several good days of hunting after we left. It was aggravating, but
yeah. All right, so while we're on this podcast, because Ross and I had talked about this, just so let's just back up. So we on here with Ross Ellwanger, and um, we had talked about this when I was up there hunting. We was walking one day, and we were at you had two pups out. You were trying to decide, and I was like, Ross, I don't know, like maybe keep both of them. But we were having this conversation about picking and choosing, and we had text back and forth over the last couple months, and just you had kind of come to a conclusion. Let's talk about that. Like, let's talk about
Sure.
like making. Well, first of all, it's extremely difficult because every day you spend with that dog, that bond is there. That you're building that relationship with that dog, and that dog's maturing in front of you, which it grows on you. I mean, it grows on you.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about Scout and Della, because that's the two dogs we're talking about. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about them, and just kind of run through what's playing out.
Yeah. So I got Scout and Della. They were born in June of last year, so they're a year and a half old now. I kept two of them out of that litter with the intentions of just keeping one, picking which one I like the best, and then selling the other one. And last cat season, so a year ago now, they were out on a whole pile of jumped cats, and I would say they were both pretty much the same. They both made, I think, pretty much or every race I put them on. I could tell at the beginning they weren't participating a whole bunch. They were just going because their buddies were going, and they were both on several caught cats. And then at the end of the season, I could actually put them on a track by themselves and they would run it. I mean, they'd screw up, but they'd run it. They knew what they were doing. And then this bear season, my plan is to get them both going on bears, figuring, after they had already had a cat season, I didn't think it would be too much of a challenge to get them running bears. And I was going to hunt them on bears for probably a month or so and just kind of get a feel for what they were both going to bring to the table, hopefully, and then just sell one, because I don't like to have more dogs than I can cat hunt. And four dogs is about perfect. 5 dogs is about one too many, and especially having 2 dogs the same age, like I just wasn't. My plan was not to keep both of them, but as bear season went on, I liked Della the most at home.
Mm-hmm.
She would be a house dog if we already didn't have 3 in the house already, because she had an accident where I kind of ran her over with my side-by-side last spring, and while she was healing up from that, she was staying in the house, and she was one of them dogs that I never had to potty train at all. Like, she just, when she had to go to the bathroom, she went by the door. There was no training there at all, and she was a sweetheart in the house. So I really liked her more. But as bear season went on, Scout kind of started showing me some things, especially cold trailing, that I'm like, that's pretty exceptional for a dog at a year old, to be figuring out some of these losses on a cold trail out ahead of the old dogs and opening on 12-hour-old tracks and stuff. So, to be honest with you, I had her sold pretty well in Montana. That he's gotten a few dogs from us over the years, and he was looking for a started dog, and I had her sold, and I kept kind of backing out on him because I was like, man, this Scout could really turn out to be something special. I mean, and it's just kind of hard to let go of a dog like that, which, I mean, is a good problem to have, right? I don't want to be getting rid of dogs because they're not doing nothing either. I mean, that's kind of a tough side to be in as well. So it was a good problem to have. And then there was a couple towards the end of our bear kill season. I mean, Scout, just her cold trailing and open and stuff, I mean, it was pretty impressive at times. So I actually had her sold. I was just going to keep her. I was going to keep her through my British Columbia trip, and then a good friend of mine that hunts with us and that you've met, he had kind of some unfortunate circumstances and needed a dog, so I actually ended up deciding just to give her to him. But I just kind of thought it was an interesting position I was in, because I ended up keeping Della, who I don't think is the better of the two. Like if you ask me right now which one's better, I'd say Scout, and it's probably not really close. But Della also has done very well, and I think her strong points are a better fit for the rest of my dogs and maybe the weak points that I have, because Della is a very hard tree dog. She locates very well, and she's also on a caught bear, on a bait up bear, she is also going to be the dog that's probably closest to the bear, and she's built like a Jack Russell. I mean, she's probably only 35 pounds, and she can fly. And I think with my dogs, I think that just fills my holes a little bit better. I mean, you know, you hunted with me for a week as far as the cold trailing and stuff goes right now. And I'll even say this, but old timers would tell me this all the time, that hunt the way we do off baits is that you can never have too many cold trailers. And they're exactly right. And I agree with them 100%. But, you know, I think my three older dogs right now, they all trail pretty well. And even if I were to lose one of them, as long as I got two of the three, I figure I can pretty much jump every bear bait I put them out at, or every cat track I put them out at. So I just felt that Della kind of filled my holes a little bit better, especially when it comes to running bobcats here, because we don't tree very many. And I think because of that, I've seen a lot of good bobcat dogs that don't locate treed bobcats. And my Izzy dog is the best I've ever seen at it. She has never not located a cat, and she is also my oldest dog. And then the other two, Moose and Willow, I mean, they tree good when they know it's there, but they definitely don't locate like Izzy. And I think if something were to happen to Izzy, I might struggle in that department a little bit. And I can see, I don't know for sure that Della is going to be, you know, that kind of a locate dog like Izzy is, but I can see the potential in her. And I guess I was just hoping, God forbid something ever happened to Izzy, if I have Della, maybe I won't miss a beat in that department. So that's just kind of the logic I used. And, you know, most times I'd tell people, if you're choosing between two, pick the best one. And I don't think I did that, but hopefully it works out. I guess time will tell.
You know, let's go back to my B litter. So that's my B litters. I've got a C litter now, but so the B litter, I kept 4 of the 5 pups. I gave the guy that bred Kate what he wanted for the breeding, so I had to get rid of that one, and I kept 4. And last year, they were just a year old. Last year, Ross, I did the same thing. Like I had 4 of them, and the best dog of that litter was not the one that I ended up keeping. Mm-hmm. And I kicked my butt. Like I'm like, he had a couple quirks about him, was my deciding factor. That was it. Man, he run, he treed, he was opening good, he was treeing. I mean, like he had all the stuff that you're saying, he had all the stuff you're looking for. And then the other 2, which I think I had both. Yeah, I had both of them up there. The 2 that I ended up keeping, like they got potential, and I mean they do fairly well. But what I have found, the more that I hunt the one that I kept, Briggs, like Briggs don't say a whole lot on the ground, and I'm like, oh, like it's hard to get dogs to him. He's come out a couple times during training season. He had bear, and he was saying very, very little. Now, if he's caught, you're going to hear him.
Yeah.
Like he's just like his mama when he's caught. Like he's yodeling. And yeah, sometimes I question my decision. Like I'm like not that there's anything wrong with them, because most people would take those dogs and absolutely love them.
Mm-hmm.
But because a couple quirks that I seen in the one dog, I let them go, and they've made a super super nice hound, like super nice hound. And not that mine haven't, but I, I'm like you. He kind of fit in more with what I was doing. And plus, I'll say this: he was my problem child. Briggs was the dog that give me fits when he was younger. You couldn't get your hands on him. You couldn't like, he was all the time conniving and being mischievous.
Yeah.
And a part of that too was like, okay, Heath, well, a lot of people aren't going to tolerate that for one, and a lot of people can't handle that. Like they're not going to know how to handle that. So that was another deciding factor for me. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'll take him in, and I mean, like I said, he's turned out to be a really nice dog. I don't like the tight mouth. Like he's extremely tight mouth, but he runs up front. He man, a bear on the ground, like he working them like a cattle dog. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling, like he is all about it. Trees super nice. He has that one thing, and he is not. And I'm going to work on it this year with him. Um, he's a little too dependent. And again, you and I talked about this in the last podcast we did about, trying to fix one problem, you create another problem, and that's something that I've created that I've got to work out. So I want him doing more stuff on his own. Like I want now he'll like I said, if he gets on a bear by himself, he going on. But I'd like him to go hunting a little harder and doing a couple
Yeah.
little other things by himself.
And I would say Dell is a lot the same. I mean, she came out on bears by herself this summer, but like when I find a cat track in the morning and put my dogs out, I mean, she stands there on the road next to me, and then the old dogs bark. Then she'll
Yep.
go in. Whereas Scout, right now, you can take Scout and find a cat track and put her on that cat track, and she's probably going to take it by herself and bark, unless it's super old, So I understand what you're saying completely, and and also when I had her in the house for 3 or 4 weeks there when she was healing up, I also got a little attached to her too and her personality. I don't know. I may kick myself in a year or two or whatever, but I mean, the good thing is Scout went to a really good friend. If I ever get in this position where I need her, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to let me hunt her too, because he pretty much only hunts on the weekends a lot of times and stuff, so I could just keep her for the week if I had to or whatever. But yeah, it was I don't know. I don't like to get rid of any of my dogs, to be honest with you. But
No, and I mean you are literally describing Briggs to a T. I put him in a track in the snow, stuck his nose in it, went down over the bank, and I thought, well, there he goes. 2 seconds later, he come back, and I'm like, all right, dude. So I walk him down the bank. He comes back. I get one dog out, and you never lay eyes on him again, and they treed.
yeah,
Same exact thing. And the same thing too. Like the other dog went to a good friend of mine. I have access to it if I need it. So yeah, and it is like I've got to whittle down some of my stuff so I can start some new stuff, and I don't want to really get rid of them, but I can't maintain and hunt. This year was extremely hard trying to hunt all the dogs, and I left my older dogs home a lot until I started having problems, which will be another podcast. But yeah, until I started having problems, like I just left them at home, was hunting the 4-year-olds and down.
Thankfully, I've been, my plan is always to keep 4 or 5, and they're going to be good. And a lot of people, and it's hard for me to resist that temptation too. When I had Moose and Willow, I actually started 3 of them. Another dog's name was Oak, and I'm like, all right, I'm getting rid of one of these. Once I get them started. Well, I really liked Oak too. They were all three doing well. What I found out that Willow had allergies, and I'm like, yeah, I can't make this problem somebody else's. So that was my determining factor on who I was going to keep between Willow and Oak. And it so far it's worked out really well, other than costing me $150 a month to keep her allergies at bay. But so thankfully I've kind of had a plan here for the last 6-8 years, and I've more or less stuck to it. I haven't let myself get sucked into that. Oh, it's just one more dog. Dog. And in bear season, it's easy to do. I mean, I wish all the time I had a couple more during bear season, but now it's this time of winter. We just came off a rainstorm, and I only got 4 dogs sitting at home that I wish I could hunt, And if I had 2 more, I think there's 2 or 3 of them I wouldn't be doing justice to, because you can't hunt them enough in the winter to hunt more than that. And thankfully I've been, like I said, able to kind of stick to that plan so far, and it's worked out. But the other thing I tell people is I'm one bad bear away from not having any either. So, I mean,
yeah, don't take it. It doesn't. It can definitely get you for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Or you get a couple dogs with beat up feet, and all of a sudden, shit, now I only got 1 or 2 to hunt. Whereas some other guys are like, oh well, I'll just grab a different 3 or 4.
Well, yeah, and I run into that this year. I mean, I've got 10 that I can hunt, and I can't tell you 10 of them's all bear dogs, but I got 10 that I can hunt, and I was down 3 at one point in time. I was taking 3. It's like y'all got to get, a couple of them had to get healed up and so on and so forth. But yeah, down to 3, and I'm like, I got all these dogs, and here I'm loading up 3, which was fine. It was kind of nice not to have to worry about having 3 more with you. Like 3 is very controllable. Like it's kind of nice sometimes.
Honestly, 4 is like perfect for me. I mean, I can handle them all without leashes pretty easy. 4 is like the perfect number, but are you always going to have 4? That's the thing. You're only 2 away from just having 2. So that's the catch-22 of it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I like both of those dogs when I was up there. I mean, like I said, I see exactly what you were saying with you hunted Della more the first, and then you started bringing Scout out, because I thought Scout was an older dog, and then you're like, no, they're litter mates.
Yeah. Scout. I mean, and in BC too, of course, I made my decision in BC. I was going to give her to my buddy. I told him when we get back, you can just take her home with you. And then, of course, there was a time the lynx came to the road and doubled back on us. And I let the older dogs try to figure it out, and I think they screwed it up. And so then I'm like, well, screw it. I might as well just let them all out now. So we just kind of let them all go, and Scout hit that spot, stuck her nose on the ground, and started screaming, going away. And I'm like, oh, can I trust her? Like, well, I don't know. Well, once you know it, she had it. And
had it lined out.
And the other tracks we were trailing too, classic example of she's going to make me regret this. And she was already starting to do it before she was even gone. She just, and she's obviously far from a finished dog. I don't know how she'll finish out. Maybe she won't get any better, but she's just shown me some things here that's like, damn it. I hope I'm not letting go of a special one, because you just don't see a lot of dogs that are a little over a year old doing that on trailing.
No,
so, time will tell.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you. Like I said, sometimes I talk about this all the time. Like, we've been raising the whole litter and trying to wait till they're 5, 6, 7 months and pick. And even doing that, sometimes you're like, well, I wished I'd have kept the other one and not this one, because they do a shift or they change, or something happens and they're not exactly what you saw, or you've seen those little glimpses of what they can and can't do, and then it ends up being nothing like that. I don't know. Sometimes I really do think it's just a gamble. Like,
I
just
I agree 100%. Even some of these times when I've kept dogs until they're 9 months old, the next 9 months they almost become a completely different dog, just in how they mature. And I think personally, unless you keep a dog until it's about 2, you don't really know what you're getting. I mean, obviously, the stuff you can do at home with them and all that type of stuff helps. And like you said, you can see some things out of them. Like, all right, maybe this tendency is gonna lead to this down the road or whatever. But man, it's so hard to tell. It's so hard to tell.
it is. I mean, and like I said, even if they come out of the gate like a firecracker, like that don't mean they're going to end up like a firecracker. It doesn't. It doesn't mean it. And like I said,
Even size, even like how big they're going to be. When I kept Moose, Oak, and Willow, I really liked Moose when he was born, but he was by far the biggest dog, and that's why we called him Moose. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep another male just in case Moose is
too big,
way bigger than I like. And you know what? The other one that I kept ended up being way bigger than Moose. So, you know, I just, and I didn't know that until they were 9 months old, you know, that was going to be the case. And now, you know, Moose isn't too big. I mean, he's a little bit on the bigger side, but he's built very nice. He's very well put together for being a little bit bigger dog, and he keeps up just fine. But the way he looked as a puppy, I'm like, oh my gosh, this dog is going to be a giant. And then he just didn't turn out to be that.
Well, there's nothing wrong. And I mean, I didn't think he was overly big.
No.
Yeah.
He's probably 60 pounds, maybe 65 pounds. I like the 50 to 55 a little bit better, but I was thinking he's going to be 70, 75, you know?
Yeah. So what do you got on the books for this year? What are you gonna do?
Well, I'm praying for snow right now, man. I just got done doing a snow dance before we got on here, and I'm gonna head back out after we're done and do it again. But I got 2 more cat tags to fill by the end of January. But I think the crust we're gonna be left with now, it's gonna be bad, and there doesn't look like there's much in the forecast. So you know, thankfully I got some friends around the state and whatnot. A lot of times some place will get some snow and I can go down there and hunt with them. So I'm going to do as much cat hunting as I can here for the next month or so. But
now, are you hunting kind of where we did? Are you hunting in the same area, or are you going other places?
No, that's my home area. Right where we did. In fact, my daughter got a 36 pounder, really nice one, just north of my cabin there, and then my daughter got one right behind my cabin, actually, a nice tom too. So that's where I'd prefer to hunt. But
it's crazy that that you're like, you know, of course now your country's different than mine, but like I told you earlier, like I'm not like in the snow that we had, I didn't see that many cat tracks, and I know they're here. And maybe they're more down towards the farmland. Maybe they're, like I said, maybe they're more down towards where the food sources are a little different. But, like that's.
Is there any rabbits up there?
Oh yeah.
Up in the mountains, there's rabbits too.
I've seen a couple this year.
So they'll pretty much be where the rabbits are. You know, even if the rabbits are more down in the farmland and stuff, cottontails and whatnot. I mean. They're not afraid to be right next to buildings, and people still never see them. You know, they have a way of going undetected. But you know, south of where my cabin is pretty much all private land, and I got permission for a good chunk of it. But there's some places where I don't even like to run because there's like old rundown barns and stuff, and that's where they always end up in that junk. There's a couple like junkyards, where people got old cars and buses and whatnot stashed off the side of their field, and they always end up in that stuff. They love stuff. So, in fact, there's more cats down there in that type of. There is, up north of my place, but you still find them up north some. But it's just they like that. Lots of cottontails in and around that junk, and a place when it gets cold, they can kind of get tucked away, and lay up. So,
I'm gonna if we get it. I mean, it's raining right now, but if we get I was hoping for snow anyway, but if we get a snow, I'd like to spend a couple of days just walking in some different country than I was in chasing bear, just to see if I could find where they're at.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got 2 dogs. I got one that's right over a year old, and then 2 that's right at under a year. And I'm going to try them. I'm going to try them on there just to get them trailing, just to get them down and get them trailing. But I got to find them first. And I don't know if my other dogs will run a cat or not. I have no clue, and I'm really not interested in putting on them at this point because, I got the 2-year-olds, which will be 3 this spring, and then the 3-year-olds will be 4, and then the 4-year-olds will be 5. Yeah, so my dogs are all. I don't know that. I don't mind starting my puppies on it. I'm going to try it because what you and I talked about up there, get them down and get them trailing, and then it's not a big deal.
I think it helps my dog. It's helped my dogs immensely with the trailing, because I pretty much, unless there's several other guys out or whatever, then I might only put 2 of the 4 out or whatever the situation. But my dogs are pretty much used to coming out of the truck and going on a cold track. And that gets them used to that in bear season. They're coming out of the truck and going out at a bait on a cold track. I don't really get dogs that, they might not be super helpful on a cold trail. They might just be kind of pack dogs along for the ride. But, I've seen a lot of dogs that you put them out on a cold trail and they turn around and come back because they've just been so used to running hot game all the time and fed into hot chases. And I don't really mind. Mine are just used to going right off the get-go. A lot of that is because of chasing bobcats.
Yeah.
Bobcats by us isn't really a game where you're packing in a bunch of dogs. You pretty much, the 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever you start out with is, once they get that cat jumped, it generally doesn't go anywhere but circle in that little area. And it makes it tough to pack in new dogs into an area that's all tracked up with old circles and stuff. Kind of screws it up. So generally, the dogs you start with. So.
Yeah. And I would assume the more dogs on a cat's probably not a good thing.
Yes and no. I mean, if you got 2 good dogs out there, that's all you need for sure. Having more than that isn't necessarily a benefit. Now, with my dogs being hunted together all the time for, before I got rid of Scout, it was 5 of them. They all honor each other and hunt together so well that it is kind of fun, because one of them would pick it up and the other 4, you could just watch them, I hear Izzy bark once or twice, and then she's just like a vacuum for the other. They know, they honor each other really well. I would say when we've run bobcats with dogs that strange dogs, you get strange dogs together, and it kind of turns into a little bit more of a shit show, to be honest with you, because the dogs are like, I ain't never heard that dog before. I'm not going to listen to it. Well, that dog's running the bobcat and the other ones are just blowing it off because they don't trust it, and vice versa, but when you get 3 or 4 dogs together that work really well together, it really is a lot of fun watching them circle a bobcat like that. I got my brother-in-law, I got a 30, I think it was 35 pound, really nice tom, and they all trailed out together, and Izzy split off, and she jumped. I could tell she jumped just the way she was barking. And the other 3 were still going straight. And all of a sudden they jumped. And they were running in circles. And Izzy was running in circles. And they were probably only 150 yards apart. And Izzy went straight to Bade then. And I'm like, well, we need to get to her and see what she's got. And we got almost there and the cat broke. And she took off. And I could just, she's not super aggressive. So it doesn't surprise me that she doesn't hold it by herself. Didn't hold it by herself. But then I heard the other dogs make a loss. They were quiet, and I heard her go straight to Bade again. And I told my brother, I'm like, let's just wait, because them other 3 are gonna
come.
They're gonna come, and once they get there, it probably won't break on us. And yeah, they heard her barking, and I mean, you could just see all 3 of them on the GPS just beeline it right to her, and then it actually popped up a tree for us. But it's a lot of fun having 3 or 4 dogs that really work well together.
Yeah. Well, I wished I had. I mean, yeah, it's just something I'm gonna work on in the future. Especially the closer I get to retirement, I'll have a little bit more time to do some of those things that I normally don't do. So
sure,
yeah,
yep.
So now after cat season, you going back to bird hunting, or you just gonna hang out until?
No. Usually in the spring, I like to do some field trials with my bird dogs. There's actually a field trial in Alabama, which is the national championship that I would really like to go to, but it's the last weekend in February. And the problem is having my dogs ready for a field trial. Especially now with this junk snow we have. Like, I don't even want to exercise my bird dogs because it's going to tear their feet up too, you know? So I'm going to kind of slow play it here. I think I got to have my entries in for that the second week in February. I think I'm going to kind of slow play it just to try to get a glimpse of what the weather is going to do. That's a long drive and a lot of money and a big commitment for me to go down there with dogs that haven't been off the couch in 6 months. So we'll see, but we definitely will. I'll definitely hit up some other closer field trials in the spring and whatnot. My wife and kids kind of like to go. We take our camper and camp for the weekend, and I try to pick up a ribbon or 2 with the bird dogs. So
nice.
I always got to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm with you. Like I said, I hope to get back started in the spring anyway. Do a little traveling and try, like I said, knock the rust off and try to keep the rust off until season rolls back around.
How far do you got to go in the spring? You got to get out west somewhere?
I go to North Carolina.
Okay.
So it's about 6 hours or so.
That's not too bad.
No. Yeah, I usually do like a 3-day trip because I can drive down and hunt a couple days and then drive back after I get done hunting. Like it's still plenty of time. So
yeah.
Hopefully the schedule works out. I know BB's got to do a lot of traveling with work this year, so I don't know how it'll pan out, but we'll do what we can for sure.
I know if our winter doesn't turn around here in the next few weeks, I told my wife I wasn't going to go anywhere else hunting this winter, but if we don't get any snow and I can't get the hounds out here for the next few weeks, I'm going to be itching to try to get out, sneak out west for a few days or something. Just it eats at me not being able to hunt. So we'll see. I don't know if she'll agree to that or not, but she's going to Mexico with the girls though. So maybe I can pick a good
trip. So now will you go cat? Will you go mountain lion or just bobcat?
Probably both, whatever I can find. I'd prefer to go to Colorado or New Mexico just because you can run it. I'd probably rather run bobcats, but that doesn't mean I'm going to drive past the lion track if I find one.
Right.
I don't know. I've done the lion thing before, and I don't really have any urge to shoot another one. Don't plan on coming back with anything other than tired dogs, hopefully. So.
You got room in your cabin for another one?
No, I don't. My daughter, I was gonna just have a rug made of hers, and then she shoots a dandy. And now she's been petitioning for a life-size mount too. So she was even measuring spots on the wall the other day. We're up there. She's like, "See, it'll fit right here." all right, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
well, Ross, I appreciate it. Like I said, I know we had that conversation, and I know that was weighing on you. And I think that anybody that raises multiple dogs out of a litter fights the same battle. I really do. Like, if you're putting thought into it, and sometimes we just can't overthink. That's what I get told all the time. You're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. And I'm like, no, like I'm trying to look at the genetics. I'm trying to look at the instincts. I'm trying to look at this. I'm trying to look at that. And literally, it's a 50-50. Half the time it works out, and half the time you're like, yeah, I made the wrong decision.
I don't know how you can't overthink it. I mean, I would seriously lay in bed at night sometimes, like, man, which is why I kept her for so much longer than I planned on, because it killed me to see her go, because I like her and I think she could be something special, and it's just hard to let go of a dog like that. But on the other hand, I also got a plan, and I want to stick to that plan and not end up with more than I can.
Yep. You are a better man than I am, because I cannot. I cannot. Like, oh, there's a challenge. Let me take that in. Oh, there's a challenge. Let me take that in. That's my problem.
Well, and I do plan on getting a puppy here this summer too, which would put me back to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had, the 2.5-year-olds, I can't do it. So
yeah,
I just got to stick to the plan.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness that it's raining and you couldn't hunt today, so we could get hooked up finally. And
I know I had a buddy that sent me a trail cam picture of one this morning too. That was really.
Oh,
he's like,
you should have went on.
Dude, I went outside though, and that crust, and I'm like, oh. I mean, I'm like, if my dogs run around in this for 2 hours, it probably won't be good, and there's a good chance we aren't going to catch it anyways if the cat is going to stand.
Yeah.
Trust me, I thought about it. It was tempting.
Well, like we'll hopefully we get together later and we'll get another one recorded.
Sounds good.
It's going to be a wrap for this episode of Creekside Chronicles. We appreciate you spending your time with us, whether you're in the truck, in the woods, or sitting by the creek listening along. Thank you for walking this trail with us. And thank you to W Supply for hosting the podcast and supporting what we do. Be sure to check them out and go to wsupply.com for all of your hound needs. Until next time, keep your dogs fed right, your boots muddy, and we'll see you down the trail.
Tailgate drops before the light, coolers packed and the rig sitting right, tracking collars charged, beeping green, boots in the bed and the rifle's clean. Dog box rattling, engines hum, we're chasing bear till the day is done. Old ring barking like he knows what's near, nose to the wind, tail full of cheer. From the Virginia mountains to the Carolina clay, we're burning fuel and miles each day. Every turn's another tale, through mountain mist and paper trails. We see the sunset red in Tennessee, rise through the fog in old WV. North Carolina's pines echo loud with the cry of a hard-run hound. New York forest, Maine's deep snow, Vermont valleys where the black bears go. Truck keeps rolling, wheels don't care. We're chasing daylight, chasing bear. Rest stops few, the roads are long, but the fire in our hearts still burns strong. Wisconsin mornings cutting crisp and clear, Canada's wildwoods drawing near. Still got states we ain't run, but that hound dog fever won't let us quit. We see the sunset red in Tennessee, rise through the chasing bear. Gas station coffee, Alpha XL on the dash. Another back road, another bear track. Friends made fast and stories told slow. Under stars where only hunters go. We see the sunrise gold in Canadian air. And it sets on a trail down in Appalachia. Packing steel and leather, grit and care. We're built for the road and chasing bear. So load the dogs and slam the gate. There's a trail ahead, we won't be late. From dawn to dusk, we're always there. Chasing daylight, chasing them bears.
That's going to wrap up this episode of Creekside Chronicles. We appreciate you spending your time with us. Whether you're in the truck, in the woods, or Creekside listening along, thank you for walking this trail with us. And thank you to W Supply for hosting the podcast and supporting what we do. Be sure to check them out and go to wsupply.com for all your hound needs. Until next time, Keep your dogs fed right, your boots muddy, and we'll see you down the trail.